have some news for you. I am yet again about to break the news about DMT and possibly also break your reality a little bit. Scientists can now control the acceleration of the entry, the intensity of the peak, the duration of the experience. They can all be literally programmed or dialed in or even adjusted during the experience, which they're calling extended state DMT or DMTx. If you want to become a psychonaut, which is what they are calling the people who will be doing this, psychonaut is now an official term, you can pay $1,400 plus the cost of taking a class that teaches you how to trip on DMT to become one of 18 people who will be selected to attend a psychonaut training retreat where they will then select 6 to 9 people to go into the DMTx state. I may have told you in a recent video about something that I recently found out that scientists had invented a few years ago that I thought was a little bit hilarious. A few years ago, according to this article, Dr. Rick Strassman, author of DMT, the Spirit Molecule, and Dr. Andrew Gallimore, author of Alien Information Theory, patented a model for the application of target-controlled intravenous infusion for a prolonged immersive DMT psychedelic experience. A technology that this article, written in 2016, said still needed to be tested. And this article also said that the point of this research was to keep people in the DMT state for a long enough amount of time to establish effective and fulsome communication with the beings. Well, I have some news for you. I am yet again about to break the news about DMT and possibly also break your reality a little bit. Scientists, if you dare call them that, have refined this technology. They can now control the acceleration of the entry, the intensity of the peak, the duration of the experience. They can all be literally programmed or dialed in or even adjusted during the experience, which they're calling extended state DMT or DMTx. And now that they are finished experimenting with this technology and researching it on people, and they have the technology fully dialed in, now they're selling tickets for people to be on the following reality TV show. You can pay $1,400 plus the cost of taking a class that will teach you how to trip on DMT to be one of 18 people who goes to a retreat where you take marijuana and classes on how to trip on DMT. And then after this 2-week retreat, which you have paid for, they will select between 6 and 9 people to go into the DMTx state. And then when you come out of that state, you will tell them everything they want to know about the entities and what the entities told you. And then if they go patent the warp drive to make the Starship Enterprise able to fly at the speed of light, and they make $1 billion off of it, you will get nothing. Do you want to pay $1,400 for a 33 to 50% chance of the possibility of having your mind used as a tool to be mined for information by scientists who will then use it to their own advantage? Lots of people do. I am sure that more than 1,400 people have already filled out the application. If that is an upcoming reality TV show, people, that is the TV show that should have been canceled long ago. That is the TV show that, like, nobody should have ever planned. But if you do want to be on the reality TV show that I just described, I'm going to show you how you possibly can be, and then I am going to comment about it. So here's the webpage. It's DMTx.org, and it says that they're doing research on DMT using a new model developed by Dr. Gallimore and Dr. Strassman that allows people to be in the extended DMT state, or DMTx state for short. It allows them to dial in and control the acceleration of the entry, the intensity of the peak, and the duration of the DMT experience. If you want to become a psychonaut, which is what they are calling the people who will be doing this, psychonaut is now an official term, you can pay $1,400 plus the cost of taking a class that teaches you how to trip on DMT to become one of 18 people who will be selected to attend a psychonaut training retreat, where they will then select 6 to 9 people to go into the DMTx state. And they claim to be doing this study to research the technology that they're going to be using to put people into that state. Which makes me have a question. The question is, if this is technology that hasn't yet been researched, how do they know that they can control the acceleration of the entry or the intensity of the peak? Like, a group of lab rats or bunny rabbits or guinea pigs are not going to tell a scientist details about the acceleration of the entry. To obtain that information, scientists had to have tested this technology on human beings. There is absolutely no way that they can say that they can control these things without having already tested this technology on human beings who described things such as the acceleration of the entry into hyperspace or the intensity of the peak. And that leads me to assume that these scientists are lying and that they are not researching how to use this new technology that they just invented to do this. And in fact, they already know in great detail how to do this. And the actual purpose of this so-called research project is to make money in 2 ways. First of all, the people that are going to be channeling information from the aliens to the scientists are going to be paying the scientists for the opportunity to do so. Then they're probably going to have to sign some kind of form saying that the scientists own any information that the aliens told them that they provide to the scientists during the study. So any scientific discoveries based on information obtained from these people's minds will be like owned by the scientists, who will then patent them and make money off of them. And the people who paid to participate in this so-called study will get like none of the money at all from any of these inventions. In my opinion, this scientific study is nothing more than a way to take advantage of people for money. And I am certain that this is their goal because of the original article about the invention of the technology for the target-controlled intravenous infusion for a prolonged immersive DMT psychedelic experience said that their main goal was to establish effective and fulsome communication with the beings or the entities or aliens or whatever you want to call them. In my opinion, this research study is just somebody's bright idea on how to make extra money off of this technology. They realized that instead of having volunteers volunteer for free or paying people to do this, that people really like to do drugs, and people pay a lot of money to do drugs because they buy the drugs for a lot of money. So people would pay money to do drugs in their laboratory, and then they could exploit those people by also gathering all of the information that the aliens transmit into those people's minds during this extended immersive DMT experience. And the reason that they want to put people into DMT hyperspace for a really long time is because they want information from the aliens that probably would take more time to transmit into a human's brain than just the normal few minutes that a DMT trip lasts. Imagine if you wanted to build the warp drive for the Starship Enterprise. How long do you think it would take to transmit all of the information about math and science and technology to a human that a human would need to be able to build something like that? It might take more than 5 minutes. It might take days or even weeks or even months. They want to be able to ask the aliens questions that would take a really long time to answer. Longer than the DMT trip or experience or whatever you want to call it normally lasts. And to do that, they need to keep people tripping for longer. That is why, after doing their previous study where they injected people with DMT and then let them have 5 to 10 minutes of sobriety and then injected them with it again all morning, afternoon, and night, those people were not able to talk to the aliens for a long enough time to appease the scientists, and the scientists had to develop a system to keep people in hyperspace for a longer amount of time. And now that I have explained what the scientists are really doing and why they are really doing it, I would like to talk about the numerous issues that I have with what they are doing. First of all, what they're doing is immoral in many ways. If you want a human being to spend hours talking to aliens for you and provide you with answers to questions about science and technology, you should pay that human being to do so. That is not a service that I will pay you to do for you, nor will I provide that service for free. That is, in my opinion, taking advantage of a person. If you want me to provide that service for you, you have to pay me to do it for you. And you have to give me a share of the profits that you make off of whatever technology you invent from whatever I tell you. I'm very concerned because a few people in a particular Facebook group that Andrew Gallimore is actually in already posted in the Facebook group that they filled out the application, paid the application fee, and they were willing to pay the $1,400 to be able to be one of the people who goes to the retreat where they get a chance to be one of the people who does this. So if you are one of the people considering paying $1,400 to be the subject of this experiment, I beg of you not to do it. You would be better off going to your local drug dealer and buying $1,400 of DMT and laying down in your room in your own bed and smoking it every 10 minutes like the scientists did to people in the original study that they did. If after doing that you do not feel that you have achieved effective and fulsome communication with the aliens, then you can get all of the supplies to give yourself an IV at your local pharmacy or online. In most countries, you can buy those supplies without a prescription, and with very, very basic knowledge of how drugs are administered to people in an IV, you could probably figure out how to create a similar system to DMT IV yourself into hyperspace for as many hours as you want to, on your own. I am quite sure that the scientists doing this study are not the first scientists to do so. I am quite sure that I was right when I said that Alex Jones was right when in his video he said,
most are astronauts and test pilots aren't flying planes. Those are robots now. It's all mind war. They don't even know what they're being given. It's intravenous.
So you think it's some sort of alien intervention type shit?
And then they put them into these events, and it's like the things the aliens tell them, they come out and they tell scientists, and it works.
And did you hear what Alex Jones said they were doing this for? He said they were doing this so they could have people ask the aliens to answer questions about technology they were trying to invent and scientific research they were doing, and the people would answer the questions and they would answer them correctly, and then the corporations or the governments would then invent things based on what the people said, and they would patent them and they would make money off of them. That's exactly what they want to use your brain to do. And they want you to pay for it, people. And now that I've said that, I have another point that I would like to make. People are often very reckless with themselves. The last time I went to San Francisco, people were smoking and shooting up heroin on the streets, on Mission Street and Market Street in downtown San Francisco. People of all ages, from teenagers to old men with gray hair, were using heroin on the streets. If people are willing to inject themselves with heroin, then some people, once finding out that it is possible, are going to try to recreate this system for a prolonged, immersive DMT experience on their own. So Andrew Gallimore and Rick Strassman should make the technology to do this safely open source technology, because if you don't make it open source technology, then people are going to try to do it on their own who don't know how to do it safely. And they might overdose themselves or something. Or put themselves into a permanent coma, they're permanently in hyperspace and they never come back. I don't know anything about Andrew Gallimore as a person, but he doesn't seem like a very responsible person to me. I mean, he's the person who wrote the book where he said that the purpose of life was to dissolve your brain permanently into hyperspace, and to people in this reality you would appear to have died. He basically wrote a book advocating like mass suicide by DMT IV. So I don't know exactly how responsible he is, but yet again, I would like to berate Andrew Gallimore on his irresponsibility this time for just like sheerly trying to take advantage of people, having people pay to have their bodies and brains basically used as tools. That is immoral and that is irresponsible, and you are like a naughty human being for trying to take advantage of other human beings in that manner. And I would also like to note that people who have used DMT do not need to take a class teaching them how to trip on DMT. Charging people money that you want to charge for the chance to trip on DMT to also take a class on how to do it is just like another way you're taking advantage of people for money. People, if you want to learn how to trip on DMT, go do some. If once you've done it, you don't think you've learned enough, do more. You do not need to take a class on how to do it. You just don't. Trust me. You can practice your skill sets like on your own in your own mind. You do not need to spend $49 on this class. Nor do you need to spend $1,400 on a ticket to a retreat that gives you a 33 to 50% chance of having an opportunity to trip on DMT for 5 hours. You do not need to spend your money on a ticket to that reality TV show. But if you want to buy me a ticket, if you just happen to have $1,400 laying around that you want to spend, and you want to spend it on buying me a ticket, please spend your $1,400 buying me tickets to go see Fish in Denver, Colorado, where shrooms are now decriminalized. The tickets are about $100 each, depending on the night, on StubHub. See, I'm on StubHub, and I would like to take at least 3 other people to each concert, so that should be about $1,400. So if anyone wants to spend $1,400 buying me a ticket to something, please buy me a ticket to go see Fish in Commerce City, Colorado, which is a part of Denver, so I can see Fish on shrooms legally. Or at least, you know, without being considered to be a criminal, because they're technically decriminalized and not legalized in Denver. Because the first time I ever did shrooms was actually at my first Fish concert, and it's actually a very long story, but I'm going to tell you one little bit of the story right now. I bought a bag of shrooms. I started to eat them in the lot, and somebody walked up to me and said, "You better eat that entire bag, or you better put it in your underwear, because they're going to find that when they search you on the way into the concert." I then decided to eat the entire bag, and it was like a 1/4 ounce of shrooms. I ended up like laying on the lawn in a nearly unconscious state for like almost the entire concert. I may have been a little bit more responsible and taken a little bit less of the shrooms if they had been like legal, and I wasn't afraid of getting arrested if they got found in my pocket on the way into the concert. And if I had ever talked to like another human being about how to use them in person before that moment, when the guy told me that I better eat all of them. Or else. And not just read everything I knew about them at that point on the internet. So I would really love to go to a Phish concert in a place where shrooms are legal or at least decriminalized. And for the last few years, tickets to Phish's concerts in Colorado have not costed that much money. They have been sold for lower than face value on StubHub, not higher than face value. And I'm under the impression from like reading people's comments in Phish fan groups on Facebook that people are like really, really excited to go to a Phish concert in a place where shrooms are not legal but at least decriminalized, and that this concert or these 3 days of concerts are going to be like one big wild shroom party that I'd like really, really love to go to. So if you want to spend $1,400 buying someone a ticket to Trip for Days, buy me and my friends tickets to those Phish concerts. And if you do buy me a ticket to go see Phish in Denver, Colorado, I promise that while I'm in the lot, I'll recite the entire Gamehenge saga, including reciting all of the narrations word for word exactly as Trey originally recited them in the original Gamehenge, and singing all of the songs. Like I said I was going to do the last time that I went to see Phish there, and like I was like literally starting to do when I started to feel dizzy and not know what was going on because somebody had drugged me with something. I ended up being carried out of that concert by the security and taken to the hospital. An event which I heard numerous people got on video. So if you have a video of that, please also send it to me. And whether you feel like buying me and my friends tickets to go to Phish concerts and trip on shrooms for 3 days, or whether you feel like buying yourself a lottery ticket to possibly be able to trip on DMT for days, or whether you feel like buying nothing because you don't want to spend money or you don't have any to spend, please do like this video, share this video, watch my other videos, and subscribe to my channel. Bye for now, people.